Chair of Economics here at Ottawa, and I've been here, this is my 10th year now. I am originally from Minnesota, so if you hear me hang on to my O's, that's why. Do I have any other Minnesotans in here? It's not like to get extra credit or anything, but I'm just curious. There's usually not, being way down here in Kansas. So I went to graduate school up at Iowa State University in 1993, and then in 1997, when I was all but dissertation for my PhD in economics, the guy who I was scrubbing toilets and mowing lawns and renting apartments for offered me a slice of his real estate business. So I jumped on that opportunity, conditional upon being able to continue to teach at the university. Our business office was just a half a block south of the university, so I'd go over, teach some classes, and come back. I got my real estate license and my broker's license, kind of ran a small sales operation, but we primarily specialized in college student housing. We had about 800 apartment units across the street from Iowa State. And so I got involved in new construction and subdivisions and flipping houses, kind of dabbled in a little bit of everything with real estate. There was a building sitting vacant downtown Des Moines, Iowa that we redeveloped into a restaurant entertainment venue. It had 5 restaurant bar type places and a 900 person live music venue up on the top floor. We had a fraternity that we redeveloped a couple blocks from our office into a 13-room bed and breakfast boutique hotel. My wife's a horse person, so I'm a horse supporter, and she ran a 50-horse barn doing lessons and training and boarding and equestrian type stuff. So I like to give you a little of that background information so you know on top of all the academic textbook stuff that we're going to do, you're going to get a little dose of what life is like in the trenches and how we can apply some of those concepts as well, because that's kind of been my bread and butter is the real world, not just theoretical microeconomics. So I love to infuse that into the classroom. So, Ottawa's kind of a special place. Did you guys hear about this financial crisis recession thing that the economy fell into back in 2008? The economy kind of went down. You guys are all hopefully way too young to really be impacted by it too much, but your moms and dads might remember it a little bit better. Well, about that time, they quit passing money out like candy to guys like me, and all of a sudden, real estate development wasn't nearly as fun as it used to be when you couldn't walk into a bank and ask for $1 million to do some project, and they were falling over themselves to give you more. And the economist in me predicted we weren't going to get back to doing business that way for a long, long time. And so one of the best investments I made was in finishing up my degree, which allowed me to get back to what I originally intended to do in the first place, which was full-time teaching. So I started beating the bushes and hooked up with Ottawa in 2011 and been here ever since. So I live just a couple blocks from campus. I have a son that I'm very proud of, just graduated from Valparaiso with a bioelectrical engineering degree. He's got his first job. He lives in Cleveland now, which just seems unbelievable because it seems like it was just a little bit ago I was telling you guys I have a high school junior that goes to Ottawa High School, and now he's getting married this summer. So life just kind of flies by. It's a lot of fun. So hang on to the ride, and I like to say carpe diem, seize the day. All right. So my wife still does equestrian stuff, but thank God we don't own a barn anymore. So she operates out of a barn doing equestrian lessons over in the Overland Park area. So looks like we have a Zoom. This would be a good time to do that. Michael, are you there?
Yes.
All right, can you turn on your camera?
Give me a second.
If you use Zoom because of an illness or an excused absence, otherwise you are expected to be in class physically. It's not like an optional, I'll just do Zoom today, but if you are sick, obviously COVID or other sickness, or I'm even pretty good if you're traveling home on a Friday to go visit you have to get clearance with me ahead of time, but I don't mind if you join on Zoom for something like that. But I do want you to ask me for permission basically to do on Zoom. But if you're sick that morning, just jump on Zoom, and then I might ask you, like, I'm going to ask Michael now that I can see him. Michael, how come you're on Zoom? Are you sick?
Yeah, I'm currently sick.
Okay.
I have a doctor's back.
Okay, great. Glad you got the email this morning and able to join us. So that's exactly what that's for. And Like I said, you need to have your camera on because I treat that now. You guys can see how Michael looks here. Michael, I'm spinning you around so you can join the rest and see the rest of the class for a second. So now Michael's head is about the size of your guys' head. And so for me, that's totally fine. Michael's basically present in the class. And so I can kind of see him. He can raise his hand. Michael, so one thing I ask you to do, though, is keep your microphone muted. Sometimes there's background noise. And so if you end up having a question or a comment that you want to do, and sometimes I don't see you quite as easily as you guys physically raising your hand, feel free to unmute your microphone and I'll interrupt me if you have a question or comment. Okay, so that ended up being a good example for our Zoom option, if that comes about. I'm going to run down the class list, and I want to hear a little bit about you guys. So let's list where you're from. Let's see, I should have a pen in here somewhere. I'm going to need to borrow one. Oh, there we go. This dusty thing works. Let's do where you're from and what your last job was. Okay, where you're from and where your last job is. I'm going to say your last name or attempt to do it. I might butcher some of yours. And then you give me your nickname or your first name or how you want to be addressed. So I'm going to say your last name, you tell me that, and then where you're from. I'm going to just go alphabetical down the list here as we have them by last name. So Bankett.
You call me Kennedy.
Kennedy, okay.
And I'm from Maryland.
Maryland, oh, okay.
And I work at Panera Bread.
Panera Bread, okay, great. Bell. Call you Bell, okay. Houston.
My last job was retail.
Retail, doing what? What company?
I used to work at Paxson.
Sit a little louder.
Paxson.
Paxson. What did they sell?
Clothing store.
Oh, clothing. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Blevins.
You can call me Rich.
Rich.
I'm from here. And
From Ottawa. Okay.
I did manufacturing.
Where? Here at the.
LTA manufacturing.
Okay, cool. Bodeker.
Mason.
Mason.
Yeah. From Arkansas. My last job was I worked as a machinist.
As a machinist.
Yeah.
Doing what kind of?
CNC mills and lathes.
No, but what kind of stuff were you machining? Like you're using metal or something, or?
Yeah.
And
No
we're-
parts to fabricate like gun slides for the manufacturing.
Yeah. I did an expert witness case, so I'm kind of familiar with that a little bit. I can't remember all the story, but this guy sold guns to a seller in Las Vegas. He manufactured them here in Shawnee, in Lenexa, and I ended up getting a gun as part of my compensation. I had never owned a gun before. I'm not anti-gun, by the way. I just never really had one. So my wife and I thought, well, this is a good opportunity. He owed me about $3,000 for the work, and I'm like, we went and visited him in his shop. And he said, yeah, well, I might be up for part of that compensation being in the form of a gun. So I ended up getting a 38 caliber, just kind of Smith & Wesson gun. Anyway, so part of the thing was, though, the manufacturing, the melting down the metal. So I learned about how they melt down the metal and then they form it into the gun and kind of some of the supply chain process of that with that particular deal. So that's interesting. Okay. Burns.
You can call me Will.
Will.
From Colorado, and I did construction.
Construction. Okay, what kind of construction?
Basically, the base of all the buildings and stuff like that.
So doing concrete work, or?
No, we did the pipe and grade work and that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay, grading and earthwork. Okay. Carol. Deontay? No, absent. Kaler. Ava? No. Charles. Yeah. Nice and loud for me. I listened to rock and roll all my life, so my ears are a little not what they are, so I need you guys to really try to project yourself as much as possible. Devin, okay. Worked at Amazon. And where are you from? South Carolina, okay. Clow? Cole? Okay. didn't have a previous job? You never worked in your life?
I know my dad, did work, but
Well, that's a job, right? I don't know if they paid you a little cash under the table or something. That's fine. But what was that?
things over there, fairly.
Oh, but what, bakery?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good. Cooper. Oh, Cooper. Curtis. Dom. Jackson.
I'm from Arkansas, and I used to work as a
Line cook. All right. That's where I started off. What kind of restaurant?
I was a country club.
Country club. Okay. Yep, I started off as a Greasy Spoon restaurant. I think it was the day after my 15th birthday when it was legal for me to work, and started washing dishes, and 2 months later I was on the line doing a little line cooking. D'Amato.
No, I'm Tyler.
Tyler?
Oh,
Wait, oh, we got D'Amato, D-A-M, yeah, Jonathan?
No, no.
You're, okay, John?
Tomato.
All right, go ahead.
Distribution center management, I'm sorry.
Which one?
Tucker,
Where are you from?
Florida.
Florida, okay. What part of Florida?
Jacksonville.
Jackson, all right. Daniels.
Yes, you can call me Chris.
Chris.
I'm from North Carolina, and I used to wash friends' pets.
And you what?
Wash friends' pets, like their pets, I would wash.
Oh, is that right? Okay. So dog washing and, okay, gotcha. All right. Davis.
I'm from North Carolina, and my last job was meat. Meat slicing.
Meat slicing?
Yeah.
At like a manufacturing thing or a Subway or something and you're...
And like a, you know what BJ's is? Like it's like a,
a-
yeah, that's what it is.
Okay, okay.
And then one of them, you can call me
JD,
JD.
okay. All right. Now, oh, I see where you were going. D'Amato.
Yeah, you can call me
Okay, so
Tyler.
yeah, wow, that is close. All right. Call you Tyler?
Yeah, I'm from Houston, Texas, and I used to work as a server at Applebee's in high school.
Applebee's server, okay. Dirks.
I'm Dawson. I'm from Topeka, Kansas. I'm my own sports memorabilia business.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that from personal finance. I still need to unload that card, or I'm gonna hold the one card. He can kind of help me out with some of the valuations of some of my football cards for personal finance. So, all right, Evans.
You call me Ben.
Ben.
Elkins, Arkansas, and I was
Electrician assistant. Okay. I might need you on my house that I've got a house that is in various stages of fixing up, and I'm right at the electrical stage, honestly. So, are you up for a side job, maybe? Might have a little. I got to do some framing first, but Everett Poindexter.
You can call me Brixton.
Brixton.
I'm from Chicago, Illinois. My last job was I was doing Instacart.
You were what?
I was doing Instacart.
Instacart. Okay, so you're doing some delivery.
Yeah.
Popular thing. Were the tips very good with that?
It depends on how big the order was. The biggest tip I ever got was like $50.
I think my wife actually just used this for the first time, and the recommended tip was 10% or something. Is that what they show on the app? Okay. And were people pretty good about doing 10% or?
Yeah, most people did 10%.
Okay,
Some
okay.
people did that, some people over tipped. So.
Right. Yep. Okay. Franklin.
You call me
Jake.
Jay.
Jay. Okay, gotcha.
I'm from Houston. Last job, I was in the military.
In the military. All right. That is unique. I've had a few military people over time, but that's cool. Okay. Grave. Or is that Grave de Peralta? That's the whole last name, I guess. Are you here? No? Anna? Oh, Anna. Yeah. She was in my other personal finance class before. Grist. Call you Grice? Okay. And then, is that how you pronounce your last name? Is Grice? Okay. Nice and loud for last job? Landscaping, okay. All right, Hendricks. A water what? Oh, Whataburger! Yes!
Yes.
So I did a scientific, oh, let me let you finish first. Whataburger, where are you from? Oklahoma. So there's Whataburgers down there. So you know there's Whataburger coming to Kansas City? Yeah. So, and it sounds like it's due to Patrick Mahomes, who went to Texas Tech, and so he, I think he had a little influence. I don't know if he's going to be part owner. He seems to own everything now, the Kansas City Royals and the soccer, and but. Last time I went to Arizona, I was supposed to be in Arizona this last weekend. I usually fly down there to teach our executive MBA class. And when I did that in August, I didn't do this intentionally, but I ended up having a taste test between In-N-Out and Whataburger, because there's kind of a big battle. I don't know if you guys all know, especially depending on what part of Arkansas, wouldn't know about that, I don't think, unless you travel to these other places, because the In-N-Out's kind of big in California, and then they've infiltrated into different parts, and Whataburger slowly, it's been mostly Texas and Oklahoma, and it's kind of gone to Florida and other places too, mostly southern places. So I guess long story short is I had a Whataburger for supper and an In-N-Out burger for the next day's lunch, and Whataburger is the best burger. So that is the determining thing. You agree with that? All right, I hear it. Okay, Whataburger's it. So, Heun. Heun. Johnson. We got two Johnsons. This is Corey, I guess.
Yeah.
You go by Corey, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
My last job was coaching.
Coaching? What coaching what?
Volleyball.
Volleyball. And where are you from?
Shawnee.
Shawnee, okay. And other Johnson, Evan?
I'm Evan, yep.
And you go by Evan?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm from Overland Park, Kansas, and my last job was in a car wash.
Okay. So you guys are both Johnsons, both from Johnson County?
Yeah.
Right? Okay, I just thought I'd point out that. That's kind of interesting little tidbit of data there. Kemp.
Goodbye, Kalen.
Kalen?
Yeah. Last job, I'm from Missouri, and last job was like groundskeeping.
Groundskeeping, okay. Kirchhoff?
Yari.
Did you say Yaren? Okay. From where? Netherlands. Oh, okay. And a grocery store. Okay, welcome. So Yaren, Netherlands. So I've been to Copenhagen. Have you been there? Okay, that's the closest I've come to your part of the world, I'd say. I went to Lithuania, but on kind of a long layover, I stayed a night in Copenhagen, which was kind of cool. All right, boy, is the K silent or is the V silent? I'm gonna go with the Vasnika? Vashnika? Wishnishka. Wow, really? Okay, I would have never got that. Okay. And you go by Emily?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm from
Salina?
Yeah. And I'm still currently there.
So you're still working there even? Okay. What kind of restaurant?
Tucson
A steakhouse? Okay. So you do pretty good on tips there? That's all right. Lang. Do we have two Lang? We do have two Langs. I guess I'm looking for Michael Paul. Oh, that's you. Okay. Go ahead and unmute if you're muted. And how do you, so where are you from, and do you go by Michael or Paul or Michael Paul, or what do you do, or MP?
I really don't care.
No, you tell me, you tell me.
Michael Paul's fine.
Michael Paul, okay.
But I'm from Kansas City, Missouri.
Okay. Last job?
Sky Zone, if you know what that is.
Oh yeah. I've kind of wanted to do that. I have jumped out of an airplane before, so I've done a little bit of the real thing, but that looks like it'd be pretty cool. I assume
That's
you.
good.
How much does that run for one time, or what do you do for 10 minutes or something, or how long is the thing?
It's like it's a 30-minute, hour, and an hour and 30, and then unlimited.
So, but you're not sitting there flying for 30 minutes, right? That's just like up and down?
Yeah, it's up and down, just continuous movement.
Okay. So the Sky Zone is it's over, there's one in Kansas City, I'm sure there's other ones around the nation, but it's supposed to emulate skydiving, right? So they blow you up, you've seen them on TV, they blow you up, and
That's
how many of you have done it?
That's high fly.
Just a handful. Looks like 3 or 4 people have done it, Michael Paul. So, all right, Sky Zone. Can you hook me up with a free trial of that?
I gotta talk to the manager, but yeah, for sure.
All right, appreciate it.
Relax, Rich.
Appreciate it.
Relax.
All right, Lang. Noah, no. Masters.
Rayleigh.
Rayleigh, okay.
I'm from Lawrence, and I currently work at
Wendy's,
Wendy's.
all right. Meekins Murray. Lisa, no. Obang? Obang? Samuel, no. Ramsey. No Ramsey. Riffle. No Riffle. Ah, okay. Running into a streak here. Rodriguez.
My name's Justice.
Justice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm from Kansas City, Kansas. And I was a server too.
And you're a server. At where?
I worked at a bar and grill. It's called Amigos.
Amigos?
Yeah. It's a little messy.
Yeah. I was trying to think if it's the same. Is it? Do they have multiple Amigos, or this is a
It's
single
just
one?
one.
Okay. All right, Sarenthra?
You can call me AJ.
AJ?
Yeah, from Massachusetts. And my last job is teaching people how to sail.
Teaching people how to what?
Sail.
Sell. What? Oh, sail. Really? That's interesting. So, you got a super rich family with a yacht and learned how to sail at a young age, or? Okay, how did you do the sailing? I think you're the first.
So I learned by joining a program with sail, and I just worked there.
And then you can, once you go through the program, then you can kind of teach the program. Huh, cool. All right. Had you sailed, though, your family or something, or no? Really? Wow. Okay, cool. Taylor?
Tony Bolton.
Bolton?
From Tennessee, and my last job was selling kitchen knives.
Selling kitchen knives. Okay, some Cutco. Right? Cutco knives. I bought some Cutco knives. I'm good with Cutco knives, so you don't have to hit me up with a pitch. But I have had students hit me up, but I'm just already telling you that my answer would be no, because we just bought them last year. We love them, by the way. Cutco knives are great, so I have no problems with Cutco knives. But they aren't the cheapest thing in the world. Let's just say that. I think I dropped $400 or $500 on that little. Can I show you our knives type thing? And I didn't totally know what we were getting into. Of course, I knew it was some sort of a sales pitch, but I bought the 4 steak knives. How much does that set me back alone? Like $200? Are they $50 a knife or something? $50, $60 for a steak knife. But that steak knife is fantastic. I mean, I can cut anything with it and it still stays sharp. So it is a cool deal. All right, Thomas. My last one, by the way. Thomas, Jerice. Going, gone. All right. Well, good. I like to get a little bit of a feel. I take some notes down on, what you did, because we're going to try to apply a lot of these economic principles to that. So some of you have done construction, or if you're a server or line cook and all kinds of things, we're going to try to apply that to these basic economic principles. All right, so let's look at our syllabus for starters. Did anybody come in late? That doesn't have one? Come on up, and 2 of you. You can give one to him. All right, so there's my contact information. My office is located right across the parkway here in the Garden Suite, otherwise known as the basement. 112, go down the stairs. My door is first to the left with the business school. I have a YouTube channel called Russ Econ Rocks, where I hold some previous lecture recordings that we sometimes use during class. Otherwise, those are all archived there. If you maybe miss a class or something, you can point there, and then there's some other stuff on there as well. My email, I'd like you to leave your phone number if you do send me an email, because it might be easier for me to just call you back and give whatever the answer is. So if you could do that with your emails. Office hours before or after any class works good. Did you have a question?
Your thing's on low battery.
Oh, low battery? All right, we'll just let it run out. Thanks. Hopefully we'll have it all charged up good for next class. So I'll get to why this is the first time I've used that system for a little while. So So yeah, before or after class or appointment, and I've got some office hours there. So our required materials is Jim Gwartney's textbook, Private and Public Choice, and it's a digital bundle of the homework assignments and tests and the e-text and other stuff. Yep, yeah, go ahead and look back at Jay. He's holding up the little card. So it's an access card that you can get from the bookstore, or if you click the link, you can get directly into it from Blackboard. So I'm going to show you that here in a second, and you can just pay for it on the spot. Here's the good news. It does count for both micro and macro. So most of you, how many people are business majors? Show of hands. Should be most of you or a lot of you. If you're required, business majors are required to take both micro and macroeconomics. And so that this purchase will cover both. So that's the good part. You get kind of a 2-for-1 special. So Jim Gwartney is actually a special guy here too. He is an alum of Ottawa University. And so some of you have been to some of my Gwartney Institute events. So I started a kind of a student-centered institute that looks at special programming stuff called the Gwartney Institute, which is named after Jim Gwartney. And this is the first time I've taught this class with his materials. I had used some another textbook for pretty much my whole teaching career, and I'm excited that we moved over to Jim's stuff. I started to use more and more of his stuff anyway, and I thought, well, I need to bite the bullet, even though it was a lot of work for me and Peter to transfer over. We finally bit the bullet and did that. So excited to have that content in there. The weekly materials, so we have an 8-week class. So you do have to hit the ground running. With the 16-week class, you might be able to blow a few things off the first week. Not here. You got to jump in and hit it. You need to come to class. So we're going to have notes. I'm going to do a lot of writing on the board. And what I write on the board is what you should write down in your notes, because we're going to have some in-class exams that are going to be short answer questions where you're going to actually write out your answers, and it's going to really be drawn from mostly those notes that you take from class. So it's good to keep a good set of notes. There's actually a lot of data. You guys are going to be welcome to use your laptops if you want to take notes that way. But there's been some pretty good research that says if you use a pen and pencil and you actually write it down instead of typing, it sticks up here better. So I really, and then a lot of my stuff is going to be, kind of a quick this, which isn't always easy. So I don't know why bananas came to mind here. Bananas. Which isn't always easy to do on your laptop, right? So you can draw that a lot quicker by hand. You might be able to, I actually just taught the whole weekend. Unfortunately, like I said, I would have been face-to-face in Arizona, but we ended up going hybrid because of COVID and other factors. So I was teaching on the whiteboard, but I was using my finger on my touch screen, and I was still doing it. So that's fine if you guys have that type of system. So it's up to you, but that's what some of the research shows. All right, so what is economics? I think that's a good place to start. In fact, let's kind of do a little exercise. I want you guys to all think about what economics is to you, and I'm going to randomly select some of you to share your answer. So what is economics is the question. Don't Google it. This is what is economics to you. So there is no wrong answer. And I'm going to start here with giving me a number between 7 and 15. 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. AJ?
Yes.
Right?
Money.
Money. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Economics to you. What is economics to you? You hear the word economics. What is it to you? Money's already been used. Kind of some history of the way things have gone and the way humans interacted with each other. I'm kind of putting words in your mouth, but would that be fair? That is kind of what a lot of what, part of what economics is looking at human behavior for sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Is it Kennedy? Janai. Sorry, where's Kennedy? Just so I can. Okay, you're right next to him. There's no pressure. This is economics to you. There's no wrong answers. You hear the word economics? Buying and selling stuff. That's fair. Yeah, that's definitely part of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Supply and demand.
Supply and demand. Okay, you got a little cue there. All right. So when I was trying to explain to my nephew who was 12 years old, he knew that I was studying economics as an undergrad. And he said, well, what's economics? So I tried to explain what economics was to him. And I said, Luke, why can't you have anything you want? Oh, yeah, thanks, guys. Yeah,
there you go. Yeah.
Come on, baby. Yeah, there we go. Okay, yeah, I forgot. That thing might be a little challenging when I do a little walk around the room. So I said, why can't you have anything you want? What do you think he said, a 12-year-old, when I said, why can't you have anything you want? What do you think he said? What keeps you from having anything you want? Because it costs money and I don't have any money, right? Somebody said it's about money. And I said, okay, so what keeps everybody from having anything they want? That's a bigger question, right? It's you not having money is one thing, but what about everybody having anything they want? What is the true constraints in life? What keeps everybody from having anything they want? Jay? Resources, good. So we're constrained by some resources. And so how he answered that one is he said, well, there's not enough stuff, right? There's not enough goods. And I'm like, well, how are those goods made, right? Where does that stuff come from? And, for a 12-year-old, that's not easy to start thinking about, well, we need people to make that stuff, right? We need stuff, the natural resources maybe, and so other resources that are needed to do that. And so we kind of start peeling the onion back, and we start to find out that it's really not about money. Money's actually, the government can start printing off money and start handing it out. That's not going to solve anything. They've basically tried that, by the way. We'll get into that's a little bit more of a macroeconomic issue, but some of the increase in prices at the pump and the increase at the grocery store for you guys are feeling, that's because the government is, in a sense, printing off money. It's more complicated than that we'll get into later. But printing off money is not good enough. That's not really the underlying cause. And so I like to think of economics as trying to satisfy unlimited wants with limited resources. So economics is the study of trying to satisfy unlimited wants with limited resources. That to me is one of the simplest definitions. Unlimited wants and limited resources. There will always be poverty among us, the good book says, right? There's never going to be enough stuff to satisfy everybody in all cases. But even the most charitable person out there, like I can point to Mother Teresa, who you guys might not be familiar with, but she was a Catholic nun that basically gave her life to serving other people over in India, washing the poor's feet, blah, blah, blah. But I'd argue even Mother Teresa had unlimited wants because she wanted resources of some sort to give to other people, right? So she still had unlimited wants, even to help serve other people. So trying to satisfy unlimited wants with limited resources is what we're going to be trying to tackle. Might as well put on here some more detail on what these limited resources are. So we've got 4 of them that we're going to use. And you guys fill me in here. What are some basic resources? A few of you have had some economics. Some of you maybe this is your first time. But give me an example of a resource. Yeah, let me go to the back. Give me your name again.
Brixton.
Brixton.
Labor.
Labor, good. So labor is basically people, and it could be people hours, or it could be the number of people, but basically having people being able to work. All right, did I see another hand up here? Yeah, give me your name again.
Richard.
Richard.
Natural gas.
Did you go by Rich though?
Yeah.
Okay, I was going to say, I thought it was Rich. All right, natural gas, okay. So natural gas would probably fall under what the category we call land. So land is all natural resources. So now we're talking not just land, but wind, sun, soil, timber, right? And so I like to think of these as God-made resources. I fully realize not all of you might believe in God, and that's okay. We can go back to the natural resources. But as a believer in God, I think of these as like, okay, human beings were dropped onto the earth somehow, some way, and here's what you got to work with, right? You're naked, and you're like dropped on, kind of like that TV show, what is it, Naked and Afraid, right? Two people are dropped on, and boom, go for it. You know, although they have some resources, don't they, on that TV show? So go ahead, go to work. So we have those God-made resources. Okay, good. What else is a resource? Another example of resource. Yeah, give me your name again.
Jackson.
Jackson.
Time.
Time. Okay, that's a good one. So it's a good one and a bad one. It doesn't belong on this list because we're going to look at this being a snapshot in time. But you're absolutely right. As we kind of bring a time element into it, then it's important to define the time period. But kind of for this purpose, I want to think of us taking an inventory of the world's resources right now, at a snapshot in time, is what we're going to do here. So give me another one. Yeah?
Maybe like steel.
Steel? Okay, yeah. So steel doesn't come out of the land all by itself, right? It's a mixture of some other resources together. And so in general, when we start mixing natural resources together, we call them capital in economics class. And we're going to use a K because we use the C for something else. Labor is going to be an L, and land's going to be LD. So land, labor, capital. Capital is what I'd say is man-made stuff that helps make other stuff. Man-made stuff that helps make other stuff. So when we think about capital, I'm going to kind of continue to write number 4 over here. So when we think about capital, it's first of all not money. It is not money. This is a bullet underneath capital. Now, you guys have maybe heard on maybe some movies or in other ways that people say, I need to raise some capital for my business. And what does that mean they want? They want some money, right? So my point is that we use the word capital in like finance and in our language, but in economics class we don't use it that way. In fact, that name was kind of hijacked from economics because when somebody wants to start a new business and they need to raise capital, what are they going to do with that money? They're going to probably go out and buy some machines, buildings, computers, pencils, man-made stuff that helps make other stuff, right? We're going to use that money to acquire resources to start my business. And I think that's how capital kind of got hijacked from econ. But for this class, when you hear the word capital, I want you to think about these physical things. The physical things that are used in the production process. Okay, questions or comments on that? All right, number 4 is kind of a wild card. I don't even know if anybody would pull this one off. But so we've got all natural resources, God-made resources, man-made resources, and then we have man and woman, of course, humans. What would be number 4? Yes?
Entrepreneurship.
Good, entrepreneurship. So entrepreneurship's kind of a wild card because an entrepreneur is a human, correct? So even if we start to entrepreneurship, our entrepreneurship bucket. So the idea of entrepreneurship is really putting somebody that pools all of this stuff together. So they play a unique role in society. We can have labor be doing some things too and having a mind of their own to start a new business, but we're going to classify that differently with entrepreneurship, right? Taking resources in a different way. When we think about entrepreneurship, I really like to think about innovation and doing something new is really the true idea of entrepreneurship. You can be a store owner, and so a lot of times we'll say the owner of Pizza Village on Main Street is an entrepreneur, right? And that might be true, but it might be not much different than I'm the owner of Pizza Village. Great. I also manage Pizza Village, right? So owner, manager, entrepreneur, we tend to kind of lump all that stuff together, but the true essence of an entrepreneur is bringing something new, innovation, changes in technology, right? The creation of a new gadget, a new app, a new something. That's really the true essence of entrepreneurship. So let's just kind of put that down here for entrepreneurship is bringing something new to humanity. I was going to put the economy or the market, and I don't know why, but I decided to go with humanity. Maybe because I did this human over here. That's the way we like to think about entrepreneurship. Somebody hasn't figured out the way to combine this stuff in the way somebody did over here, right? Finding new ways to combine resources and present it differently, which can take on a lot of different forms. Okay, so that is a little quick overview of the basic things of what we're doing. Let's go back to the syllabus here for a moment. In fact, I think I'll drop the screen. My document camera's on. Oh, yeah, the screen's getting extra sticky. I guess it hasn't been used. Usually it sticks up at the top there. But take that one. Oh, maybe it's not Norton. It looks like it's on. Yeah. I'll try a reboot. All right, I'll talk. We'll see if it comes to life or not. Oh, that's why. Gosh darn it. I hate this thing. Excuse me. Can't remember your name. Can I ask you to move? All right, you guys get to see. You don't have to move for good. Just move for right now. You can just stand up. If you don't mind a footprint on your seat. Okay, this is one of the treacherous things here. Work hazards and ward science 101. They tried to fix that. I've complained about it before, but the thing times out on us. So, all right. So you got the rest of the stuff there in titles. We'll get into more on micro. What I would like to say is micro versus macro. I already mentioned macro, so let's kind of think about what micro is versus macro. So I mentioned inflation. What does inflation mean? I kind of told you already, but what's going on right now? We're experiencing inflation like we haven't seen in about 40 years, which is insane to me. I didn't think we'd ever experience something like this again, but such is life. What's happening with, when you hear inflation, what's changing in the world? You don't have to give me a formal definition. What's going up?
Gas prices.
Gas prices, house prices, all prices. So all prices. So inflation by definition, is a rise in the general level of all prices. When we do talk about house prices or gas prices, that's a microeconomic topic. So we could be looking at the natural gas market instead of bananas here. We look at, and maybe it's just gasoline, right? That would be microeconomics. So, but when we look at macroeconomics, we're thinking about all prices in the economy. So inflation, unemployment is now back to some record lows again. We're in the high threes, the data just came out. So people who want to work are able to work. Like if you guys are looking for work, this is a great time to do it. In fact, you're getting higher pay. The pay is starting to come up. So unemployment for the nation, that's another macroeconomic topic. If we're looking at employment in the gas market, the labor market for gas, that would be micro, right? So macro is always thinking kind of countrywide or maybe statewide. And then gross domestic product, GDP. What is the income of the United States? Like if we add your income and your income and your income and we take everybody who's worked over the course of the year, we add up all of their income, gross domestic product is the income of the nation. That's a macroeconomic topic, right? If we look at the income that's being made in the gas industry, that would be a microeconomic topic. So micro is thinking about the individual, the business, or the industry is usually the microeconomic world. And then once we start talking about the state and the country and the globe, it's more macro, right? So just think of those micro being at the lower level and macro being up. So this is micro. So our focus is going to be on individual behavior and individual things. So I'm going to start on the back side here. Okay, so your grade will be determined by the points you earn from 820 in the course. Actually, I think that's a typo. I think it's actually 810, but anyway, we'll correct that later. It's right in the online syllabus. But so you've got this thing called Mindtap, which ends up making up about 80% of your grade, and then the other 20% comes from a couple other. The in-class quizzes, the short answer quizzes I mentioned, and then a video project. And so here is the due dates. Basically every week, Saturday and Sunday, you're going to have homework and tests. There's going to be weekly tests on the content. And if you guys didn't catch that, this is week 1, chapters 1 and 2, week 2, week 3, week 4. So all of the weeks are listed here all the way down to week 8. And so there'll be a test at the end along with some homework as you go through. Our in-class midterm test will be during week 5, so after we've had 4 weeks worth of material. We'll do the in-class midterm quiz. And then the video project will be Wednesday of week 8 is the due date. And then the final exam, which is just covering the last week's material, although all of this kind of builds on itself, will be the last day of class on Friday, which I think is March 3rd, maybe, or, yeah. Question? Yeah.
What's the video project?
Yep, I'm gonna go over that next. So, you're right in step here. So the video project. Students will demonstrate their understanding of an economic concept discussed in class through the creation of a visual representation of the concept. You can go solo or create groups of no more than 3. Then each group will form the following tasks. Select an economic concept or idea in which the group is interested. Create a video clip to demonstrate the concept. The video should be based on the student's understanding of the concept or idea. Length of the video, 2 to 4 minutes. And then I have a little information here on uploading your video to Blackboard. And depending on time, some of the videos might be shown in class. The final product should be uploaded to Blackboard. If done in a group, each person needs to upload. So if you had a group of 3, each person uploads it to their spot. And the thing that gets you high marks is making me laugh. So being creative and having fun. The worst ones that don't score very well is, here is the supply and demand. The demand, I might be doing some of this with you, but the demand shifts and the price goes up. You can do better than that, Right? So you can be creative at acting. There's tons of other examples of videos, and I'll show a couple in class from previous students that were up there, but you can really be creative and have some fun with all the different concepts that we do. All right, so any further questions on that? That'll be towards the end. We'll review that again. Okay, so I saw some of you on your personal digital devices. So use of personal digital devices. Turn off your vibrate and your ringer. Do not engage with your device with anything outside of class. Turn off instant messaging. This is for you with laptops. Close your email software, notifications. You will lose points for not separating yourself with the personal device during class. Internal distractions like daydreaming, as well as old-fashioned disruptions of excessive talk with a neighbor, will not cost you points, but will be subject to a verbal lashing or a different seating assignment at my discretion. So, no phones on the desk. So go ahead and take the time now to turn them off, totally silence them. They need to go not on your chair in between your crotch there. It needs to go in your backpack or deep in your pocket. So if you end up going and engaging with your device, that's what's going to cost you a few points. I'm not trying to be all, Hitler about this, but I do follow data. And they did an interesting study a few years back, and they took multiple test groups, thousands of students. Some students had to keep their phone in their dorm room. Some of them had to keep it in their backpack. And then the other ones were able to keep it on their desk. And then they gave them tests and assessments and see how they performed. Guess who performed the best? The students with the phone in the dorm room, backpack, or on the desk?
Yes.
The dorm room. Yeah. Now, I'm not going to, pat you down before you come in here, so I'm not going to force the dorm room. But I will tell you there's very good evidence that says if you can learn to separate yourself from your device, the more distance you put yourself from it, the more effective it'll be in your learning. So that's kind of an interesting thing. Otherwise it's in your backpack, you start to get a little itchy, and I gotta check it, I can hear it or something. And then of course when it's on your desk, it's even worse. So, okay, so any questions there? All right. Attendance and participation. Every now and then you might pick up a few extra credit points by dragging yourself to class and making it through a lecture mind. You may also earn some of these points by answering correctly some of the tougher questions I start up in class. Points can go the other way too. An incoming ring will cost you a point. However, an incoming ring for me gets you a point. So I put the same restriction on myself. I purposely left it. I did not silence it today, hoping that maybe somebody would call me, but nobody called me. So I'm going to silence mine right now, but I do forget. And so if I forget and my phone rings, you guys can bust me, and everybody who's present gets a point. You get an extra credit point if I forget. So that's kind of how we handle the phone situation. I've been doing it that way for years now, and it's worked pretty well. All right, academic integrity, don't cheat. The consequences can range from an F on the item involved to an F in the course and reporting to the dean. Writing format, APA, that doesn't really apply to this class very much. Student catalog. So the rest of the syllabus is on the website, or on the Blackboard, which I'm going to show you here in a moment, but this is kind of my quick sheet for the syllabus. And then finally, please address any special needs or accommodations with me at the beginning of the semester as soon as you become aware. So if you guys have any special accommodations, make sure you come up and see me, and we'll try to figure something out. All right, so that's that syllabus. Questions? I might mention too, everybody's good at some things and not so good at other things. Well, what I've learned over the years is that I am really bad at letting class out early. It's just, I don't know, I can't do it. It's just not very good. I'm just not good at it. So the point with that is class runs till how late? 10:10. Pretty much bank on 10:10. Now, I'm also good about not going past 10:10. So that's my promise to you. Maybe once in a while something we have to leak a little bit over 10:10, but I try to watch the clock pretty well. But don't expect to get out of class early. Try to go to the bathroom before you come to class. But if you're busting at the seams, it's okay to get up and go to the bathroom and come back. If you start to make a habit out of it, I might talk with you, but so I'm pretty flexible that way. But otherwise, try to hit the old banjo before class if you can. All right, so here is the Blackboard Shell. And let me do, before we jump into the Mindtap thing, let's see if I can make this a little bit bigger. Well, usually I was going to try to blow this up for you guys a little bit. Let me just do it this way. Okay, so over here, first thing I want to point out is that there are discussion posts. So if you come here and you see some discussion posts, or you see it on the banner or in the other syllabus that's baked into this, that doesn't apply to you. So because this is a face-to-face class, we're not going to be doing discussions. You get those points by coming to class and those other points that we talked about. So you ignore, if you see anything here referencing doing discussion posts, you don't have to do that. So, well, that's for our online sections. All right, so that's the first thing I wanted to say. Yeah?
Does that apply to macroeconomics too?
Yes. Yeah, it'll be a similar thing for macro. Yep. And there might be, sometimes I'll utilize the discussion post as part of those in-class exercises, but in general, the stuff that's in here, we don't do for the face-to-face class. Online students get this exact same shell, so we keep the curriculum and everything is consistent, but obviously they don't have the face-to-face time, so the discussion posts replace that. All right. So in the course material, just if you want to get kind of an overview of what's going on in the week, these week 1 through week 8 is over here, and you can kind of scan through the chapter content. Again, ignore the discussion forum, that's not for your class, but here's the week 1 Mindtap assignment, so if you click that, that's going to bring you over to the Mindtap that I'm going to show you in a second. So that's all of the weekly content. I do have some of the, let's see, where is that? I don't. Maybe I can get in. Oh, learning resources. That must have been it. Yeah, here we go. So I mentioned my Russ Econ Rocks YouTube. So in the learning resources within each week are previously recorded lecture clips of mine that, again, if you're coming to class regularly, you're going to get it live. You're going to get the live show, the updated version, right? The 2.72 or how many times I've been teaching this for 30 years. So anyway, that's a younger Russ. That might have been recorded. And that's part of the why I'm recording this is that I told you that we changed textbooks. So now I'm going to update with a new recording with this new content. It's still, a lot of it is the same, but the way it's covered and the timing of the content is a little bit different. So this is going to be my first trial run of the new Gortney textbook. All right, so on the Mindtap here, if you click this and you turn off your pop-up blocker, try that again. You guys will hit a pay window. And the pay window will, like Jay has that card in there is the code, and you'll enter in the code because you purchased it at the bookstore, or you can enter in your credit or debit card information and purchase it there. So once you get through the pay window, then you'll come to this dashboard. So you're kind of outside of Blackboard, by the way, right? So this is the Mindtap interface, the dashboard for Mindtap. And then here's the week 8, the 8 weeks all lined up. And then you can open up those parts. And within each one, if you see the orange, let's see, learn it. These orange, let me blow this thing up. It's a little too small. Let's see, let me get rid of this thing. Oh, crud, somehow I can do that, but now I made it too big that I can't do it. All right, let's just leave it like this. You guys see these little orange dots?
Yeah.
It says count towards grade. So There's items on here that will just be supplementary. Some of it's the e-text and other things, but anytime you see the orange dot, that's one of your homework assignments that's going to be due on Saturday or Sunday of that particular week's work. And this makes up 80% of your grade. So some of it is what I call gimme points. Do I have any golfers in here? Even if just not necessarily golf for the university, but you've just golfed. Okay, what is a gimme putt? What's a gimme putt?
Putt inside a foot and a half.
Inside, okay, you said inside a foot. Sometimes golfers say inside the grip of your putter from the head to, so if you measure it. But basically, you turn to the person you're playing with and they're like, oh, that's a gimme, right? And so basically, you don't have to putt the ball to prove it because it's such an easy putt, and you get that point basically with golf, or you get that as part of your scoring automatically. Well, I have gimme points baked into Mindtap, and I expect all of you to get the gimme points. So get in there and get that stuff done. What that means is that you can kind of hunt and peck and get the right answer. It's kind of keep doing it until you get it right type of stuff. So make sure you get all the gimme points. The tests are not gimme points. So the week 1 tests are going to be a little bit more difficult. Sometimes there'll be some true-false. They can also be some graphing and a drop-down fill in the blank. So that'll be the weekly test. If you've done all of your work and you didn't just not learn when you did the gimme points and you just hunt and peck till you got the right answer, then you should do fine on the test. But that'll be the test. They're timed. And that is 50%. If you go back to your